In today's video, I'm taking you with me to Dartington Hall Estate in Devon, where we'll take some reference photos to paint over the long winter months and create a tiny painting. It's been a while since I've taken you on a beautiful, peaceful painting adventure, and today just seemed like the perfect day to do it. So we're here at the beautiful Dartington Hall Estate. And it's pretty late and it's pretty stormy, so I'm not sure how much we're going to get done, but I thought I'd take you for a quick walk. Everywhere you look here, the trees are just beautiful. Usually in Devon, the trees don't change that much, at least not where I live. Maybe I just haven't gotten out enough in previous autumns, but I've lived here 11 years and I don't remember an autumn where the trees displayed such a spectacular array of colors. So it's made me really excited to be painting. And I thought, even if we don't have time to really paint much today or at all, we'll have to see how it goes, we can at least take some photographs and use those for references later. The main thing we need to do first, before we do anything else, is take Poppy for a walk. She's been such a good girl. She sat in the car for about an hour while I tidied it up and prepared it for winter. So she is raring to go. I bet it was miraculous about a week ago with these two trees, because you have the golden leaves on this closer one and you have the reddish ones on the further one. Look at that. You can just imagine. Next year, I have to make a note to get here sooner. This is one of Poppy's favorite places to walk because she's got the big open field and she can run to her little paw's content. If you're ever wanting to draw an interesting tree, this is a great place to come. Just look at this one. In the distance, I hear the steam train. There's a steam train that goes from Totnes to Buckfastleigh. Oh, do you hear that? Let me know in the comments someday we should ride that train together. That would be so much fun. It looks like they've planted a bunch of new saplings. Let's see what this one is. An ornamental tree, Caleriana Chanticleer. Oh, there's another tag. Oh, this is going to be amazing in a few more years. Look at that one. If you want a tree study, there you have it. That is just amazing. But just look at that. Wouldn't you love to live someplace like that? I would. I'd even take it with all of the problems. Maybe we should come here and paint. We could park right here. We could paint this view. This is a really good idea right here. We could open the hatch. That's gorgeous. Poppy likes it too. Look at that bush. And then over on the left, you see the modern architecture. Poppy can get through. We'd have to go around. Just look at those trees and look at the architecture. I've got to say, this is probably one of my favorite buildings on the estate, right here. And you can see here it's largely just closed off. I think this used to be, that would be an amazing classroom, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a great art room? Let's see if we can see inside. Oh, this is sad. Broken window. You can see all the tables and all the mold. I wouldn't want to go in there. You can see what it once was and what it could be again. This one has broken windows as well, but they boarded it up on the inside at least, which will help protect it. They really need to do a better job of protecting this, I think, because this is a historic gem. Let's look at that. If you're from Devon and you see this and you know the history of this particular building, let me know in the comments, because My husband and I tried to research it and we weren't in agreement. He thinks it was the old school and I'm not sure. I think he's probably right. And I'm not sure what's going to become of it. I think it's really sad because it could be amazing, but obviously it would take millions to restore. We met some friends. Hello, darlings. Hi. Do you know if this building was a school?
Oh yes, it was a school.
The Dartington Hall School?
It's just so sad.
I know, it really is.
It was a boarding school, I think. What a waste. I went to boarding school in Kent, a place similar to this.
Oh, right.
You know. So think how sad it is that it's...
Yeah, it is sad.
I don't know what they're going to do with it.
No, I don't either.
I'd love to look inside.
I know, same. If you go up there, you can see in one of the windows, but it's just, it looks like it was an old classroom and it's moldy.
An absolute mess.
Yeah, yeah. Would have been an incredible place to go to school. So.
It must have been absolutely buzzing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, you've got the swimming pool and there's a round painted circle in the centre.
Oh, right.
So it must be in the games for netball and that.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
And there's a swimming pool and I can't think where it is.
Maybe it was over here somewhere. Oh, there's something there that's
there,
fenced off, so that could have been it.
Not a very big one, but quite deep.
Such a shame, really.
It must be a listed building. And
Yeah.
look at the size of that beech tree,
I know.
the one at the back. It's an absolute beauty. It's huge.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yeah. So I was just talking with the owner of those two dogs and mystery solved. This did used to be the old boarding school, and she mentioned that was a games area behind me, and then in front of me here was the swimming pool, and that's all fenced off. What a shame. What a shame that this beautiful historic building is going to ruin. Everywhere you look is a painting, honestly. All right, here's the pool. And then there's the stone steps up to the school. Well, if you're the kind of person who likes to imagine different lifetimes, this would be a really great one to imagine. My sister-in-law's husband at the time was a teacher here at this school. And actually, it ended with a bit of a scandal. I'm going to research that a little more and I'll do a voiceover to tell you about that. And that was, I think, the primary reason why this school closed. But in its heyday, it was really an amazing school. And a little interesting tidbit is that a second school was made on the heels of this one closing called Sand School, and that's in a nearby village called Ashburton. And I actually taught there when we first moved to Devon. My daughter went to school there for her GCSEs, and I taught art and English literature and English language there. So that was really interesting as well. It was a democratic school, so all of the kids have an equal vote in everything that's done. It was a small school. It was great for socialization. And it was such an honor to spend a few years of my life teaching there and getting to know all of my daughter's friends in a way that normally you wouldn't. And we're still all in touch, honestly. Come on, pups. And Sand School is quite amazing too, but it's nothing like this. It's in an old manor house and it has some beautiful grounds, but I mean, this is something else altogether. I just want to walk you to the main hall. My husband played a gig here once. I think it was back in like 2016 or 17, and it's really quite spectacular as well. And there's actually a little hotel there, there's a restaurant, there's a cafe nearby, and you can stay here. So if you like the look of this place, you can book a room there. And the main estate, the main hall, is all fixed up. So that is renovated. It hasn't fallen into disrepair. As far as I know, it's just that building that is, I don't know, a big question mark. And then there are all, like I said, all of these other modern buildings and a mix of buildings from all different times. I love views like this where you just see the tops of the trees peeking out over the hill and you just know that they're monumental trees, but you only see the very top, the crown of them. I'm sorry we're not here on a sunnier day. It's raining right now. I don't know if you can tell, but oh, there's the train again. That train is so amazing. And you can take it back and forth from Totnes to Buckfastleigh. I've never done it. I've been to the train, but I've never actually ridden on it. We'll have to do that. That would be a really fun video, drawing on the train. Dartington Hall Estate has a rich and fascinating history with records that can be traced back over 1,000 years. There's evidence of Roman and Saxon settlements, and it's mentioned in a royal charter in 833 AD. After the Norman conquest in 1066, Norman lords built St. Mary's Church and an enclosed deer park, which are both still here today. It passed through various ownerships throughout the centuries, with the Great Hall being built in the 14th and 15th centuries, and a transformation into an Elizabethan mansion in the 1550s. The pattern seems to be that great amounts of money were spent on the estate, followed by periods of ruin. In the 1920s, following one of these periods, a wealthy couple, Leonard Elmhurst and his American-born philanthropist wife, Dorothy Payne Whitney, purchased Dartington Hall Trust with the vision of transforming the estate into a number of experimental educational projects. One of these was a progressive liberal co-educational boarding school where children were granted the freedom from the stricter educational institutions popular at that time and were also active in all parts of the estate, including agriculture, forestry, and the arts. Foxhole School was built in 1932 as the senior school, and at its height it housed around 300 students. My husband visited here in the early 1970s and said it was so incredible that he wished he'd been a student there. By the 1980s, however, enrollment plummeted after negative publicity alleged drug and alcohol abuse and the unfortunate and mysterious drowning of a 16-year-old student in the River Dart. The school closed in 1987, although the primary school is still active today and follows a child-centered ethos. The Foxhole School was followed by the short-lived and still spoken about Dartington College of the Arts that took its place and eventually merged with the University of Falmouth, but it closed its Dartington campus in 2010. The Schumacher College was also housed in the estate from 1991 until only a few months ago, which focused on ecological studies, sustainability, and preserving the Earth's resources. The departure of both of those schools is a great loss for this estate, which gives the impression of needing another wealthy donor to revive it to past glories. Nevertheless, it's still a lovely place to visit and is a hub for locals, like me. So this is the side of the main cluster of buildings. I honestly am not familiar enough with the layout. The main hall is over on the left. You could see it a little bit. So let's head over there. So we're coming at it a bit from the side and not the front. But over to the left is the restaurant. You can see some outdoor seating. So that wing over in front of me is the hotel, I believe, the upstairs portion. And then over on the left here is the Grand Hall. I don't know if it's open right now, but they do all sorts of concerts and interesting things. But what an amazing piece of architecture this is. Let's see if anything's open. So the Great Hall is closed today for a private event, but here it is on the inside. And then over on the right is the big, gorgeous room where they hold concerts. You can see through there is another garden. I don't want to go through because I think it's for a private event. So this is the other side, the front side of those buildings that I showed you earlier. I'm not sure if they're part of the hotel or if they're just offices. It was made for artists. It was made for supporting the arts. And I think it's such a shame that it isn't utilized enough for that right now. So over on the left is a cinema where they show movies. And the restaurant is where I just showed you up ahead, as well as the Grand Hall. and the listed gardens, which I don't want to go through because of that private event. And then over on the right here is a welcome center, which is still open. We can go in there. I'm not sure if Poppy's allowed, but we'll give it a go. This is what I really want to paint today, but I don't think I can get close enough to this. So I think we're gonna look for another alternative, but I'm definitely taking a photo of this for reference because this would be a beautiful one to paint for sure. And right around the corner here is a little place where you can go for breakfast, brunch, lunch, cream teas, and a bar. And we've eaten there several times. It's quite nice. We're headed back to the car now. I think if I set a timer and maybe do just like a 30-minute video or a 30-minute sketch, I can do that, but it is getting a little bit later in the day. And although I have some food in the car for Poppy, I have some fresh chicken at the house for her. And I'm sure she would rather have that for dinner. We have this great spot that I was really excited to find because we could just open the side door and we have the view of these hills and the trees. But I honestly now think that I'd rather head over to that old boarding school and see if we can do a little picture there, or at least take a couple photos and then go home and draw and paint. Poppy's got her towel. Yeah. Was that a good walk? Was that a good walk, darling? Yeah, you want some water? We're back at the boarding school and I really want to take some photos, maybe do a quick sketch before we have to head home. It's only about 4:30, but it's rainy and it's dark, so the lighting isn't the best. But you can see even in this dim light, the colors are really beautiful. A fun fact that I didn't mention is over on the right, I think it's that building or next to it, there's a little theater. And when my daughter was, I think she was 16, she and some friends started a little theater company and they put on a production there. Are you ready to do some art, Poppy? It's pretty dark in here, so we're going to use some extra light. I think this one will work. So the back of the door provides an awning, which is pretty helpful, but it also unfortunately blocks off half of the view when it's open. So I'm thinking that I might want to do a little zoom in and just do a little detail of the doorway and the stonework and some of the red bush there. Unfortunately, that car is in the way and I don't think it's going to be gone anytime soon, but we can just fade it out. Artistic license and everything. I'll show you what I brought with me. I didn't bring too much. I have my Scout pochade box that I leave in the van all the time, and it pretty much has everything I need. But in addition to that, I just brought my mini Sundac. And in here I have a few different aquash brushes. I have a collection of some of my Rosemary & Co. travel brushes in different sizes. And then in here I have some extra things, some brushes, erasers. I've got my little paper in here. I've got some scissors and washi tape. And then I have a few different mechanical pencils, a few different fine liners, a little Tombow mono eraser. And then I have my white milky brush from Pentel, and I have a masking fluid marker. I've been really liking this one almost more than the Molotow because it's got a finer nib and it doesn't clog up as much or as quickly as the Molotow. So just an FYI if you like to use these. And then in here I have a little mister. And then in my other Sendak Mini, I have a selection of my different pencils. I don't use these very often, but I've just decided that I need to start using some of these supplies that I don't use. And so this was a perfect place to carry them. So I have a collection of some of my Derwent watercolor pencils and some of the Museum Aquarelle by Karen Dash in here. And the way I've set these up is behind this protective piece of paper, I have a key showing you what's in the pouch so that when I'm painting or drawing with them, I can just lift those up and then I know where to find all the different colors. It's just a little cheat sheet. I don't think I'm going to use these, however, today, not for this drawing, but it is nice to have. And then here in this pouch, I have just a collection of some of my gouache. And I have this little pouch with some of my Neocolors by Karen Dash, my Neocolor 2s. I also brought a few sketchbooks because, I don't know, I had good intentions. This one was sent to me by Artex. They sent 2 other ones as well, and I'll do an overlay of those. It's really pretty, and the paper is 100% cotton. These pages are all perforated, which normally isn't something that I love for a sketchbook. And you can see it's like a booklet. In fact, it would be really nice if these booklets were replaceable, but they're not. But I thought it would be nice for doing little on-the-go sketches, not necessarily a sketchbook where you'd keep everything in here, but you could do some paintings and then tear them out. And yeah, I did have high hopes that I might want to do some sketching, but it's pretty dark and it's pretty late, and I don't think Poppy's feeling all that great. So we're just going to do a very, very quick sketch and get her home to her cozy bed. So I'm just going to do a tiny painting as part of my 31 tiny paintings in 31 days, my teeny tiny Tober quest that I'm doing. And it's something I think I can do pretty quickly. So I'll just use one of these. You guys, look, the car left. So I'm rethinking the whole thing. This is the view I'm going to do now instead of the detail. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Look at that. And I'll go ahead and tape it to the little palette board here for my scout. So I've done a very quick pencil sketch, and I'm laughing at myself because I said I'd pick something quick to do, and this is not super quick. But I'm going to do just a little drawing. I'm not going to go crazy on the watercolor on this one. I just want to try to keep it an impression and try to keep mindful of my timeline. So I'm not filming too much at this stage because I just really want to focus on doing a quick sketch. But this is where we're at so far. So here's the drawing so far. I think I've spent probably, 10 or 15 minutes on this whole thing, the sketch and the ink. So it's not perfect, but I need to just splash some color on it and get headed home. So we're going to do that next. Well, I completely underestimated how quickly it would take for the sun to set. I know it looks actually quite bright here on the camera, but it's dark. I can't even see what I'm doing really in the van, and it's raining outside, so I can't do it here. So this is where I'm at so far, and I don't know, it's very watery and very wet, so I can't even wait for it to get done. So I'm gonna get Poppy home, and I'm gonna finish this at home. And then tomorrow I will let you see the finished piece. It's the next day, and here is the painting. I finished painting it last night, And then I added a few extra touches this morning just to finish it when I could see it in better sunlight. I thought I might go back today and finish it, but it's chucking down rain. So I just added the last few touches this morning here in my studio. I think if I'd had a little more time and the light had been a little bit better, I probably would have liked it more. Anyhow, here it is all completed and ready to add to the collection of other tiny paintings that I've done so far this month as part of my teeny tiny Tober quest, which is also part of my greater 100 tiny treasures in a year quest. And if you don't know what either of those are, I'll link those videos in the description. I'm glad I went yesterday before the leaves changed a little bit more, and also because we're expecting rain here for the next week in Devon. So it's nice that I have lots of lovely photo references that I also had the advantage of being able to see. So I'll remember those colors as they were in real life, and that will help me when it's time to paint them. I'll be sharing a selection of some of these photo references over on my Patreon if you're interested, or if you'd just like to see more about how I choose my colors, color mixing, drawing or watercolor, or narrated tiny painting videos, or just share your paintings directly with me and the lovely community of other artists that we have over on Patreon. The link is in the description. But even if you're not a patron, just watching this video helps my channel to grow, and I appreciate all of you. Anyhow, I hope you've learned a few tips for gaining inspiration in nature and helping to build your own photo reference libraries. Having a nice photo reference library really is helpful for the long winter months. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.